Are you angry?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm totally mad. There's no reason for it. This is absolute stupidity. This is a man-made crisis caused by Donald Trump, period.
John Bartman is a soybean farmer whose family has been working Illinois land since before the Civil War. This year, his crops, diligently planted, meticulously cared for, are losing their value.
This is a yield monitor. This allows me to see instantly what my yield is doing. So this is 4,134. So that's roughly $40,000 worth of soybeans that we have harvested. And a couple years ago, that was easily $60,000. So that's a major change. This is the economics. It's what we do in this country. We export food. And we can't do that right now.
Soybeans are the largest agricultural export from the U.S., valued at more than $24 billion last year, 52% of which was exported to China. But this year, soybean exports to China are down 51% compared with the same time period last year. The drop comes as China stopped buying soybeans from the U.S. and an escalating trade war. President Donald Trump insists farmers will win the trade war. Posting on Truth Social October 1st, "We've made so much money on tariffs that we are going to take a small portion of that money and help our farmers. I will never let our farmers down." John Bartman is skeptical.
Bailout's not going to do it. Bailout, unfortunately, we need the money.
Once you lose a customer like China, can you ever get them back?
I sincerely doubt it. Why would they?
I got to farm with my dad every day. It's a way of life. It's a wonderful way of life. And it's at risk, and it shouldn't be.
The impact of Trump's tariffs is being felt in the heartland.
Soybean farmers here are now suffering economically like they haven't in decades.
Right now, we are harvesting soybeans in Marengo, Illinois.
My family has been farming since 1846. I'm the 5th generation. We're a grain operation. We grow corn, soybeans. I am a product of the pioneers. It's history. You don't let that go. One of the best memories that I had was just my dad teaching me how to drive a tractor. I got to farm with my dad every day. It was pretty cool. How many people could do that? It's a way of life. It's a wonderful way of life. And it's at risk, and it shouldn't be. It's total bullshit. Human lives are at stake. It's stupid. The whole thing is stupid.
I'm very proud of him. He's done a great job. He's kind. He's very caring. He cares about other people. I didn't really want him to be a farmer. When my husband got sick, he asked if he could take over the farm. He said, "Mom, give me 3 years. Just give me 3 years." So that's what we did, and it's turned into 16 years.
Harvest is usually the best time of the year. It's literally the fruits of your labor. This is the time where we as farmers get to celebrate all of our hard work and that we get paid for our year's worth of work. And unfortunately, this one has a real bitter taste to it because the money is being spent right now in Argentina and being given to billionaires. Farming is hard enough as it is, dealing with Mother Nature, but this year especially is very challenging because of the tariffs that have been put upon us. Our cost of production has increased and our markets have dropped dramatically. And this is really putting a major strain on all farmers right now.
If anybody who's not a farmer and they say, well, what do I care about what's happening with farmers? What does that matter? Well, in Illinois, 20% of all jobs revolve around agriculture. And when farmers have money, we spend it. And we spend it on really big, high-ticket items like combines or tractors, all of whom are made in major Rust Belt areas. And those are really high-paying, good jobs. And that trickles down to the waitresses who get better tips, to our schools because people have more income, the schools get better funded. And right now, we're just in a major holding pattern because we have no income.
The American people are hurting right now. The farmers are hurting right now. There is absolutely no reason for this.
Our grain prices are down. We have tariffs. We have a bumper crop. We don't have people to sell it to. China hasn't bought one of our beans. we don't have those markets anymore because of the tariffs.
I'm looking at the commodity prices of where they're at, which is how I get paid. I'm having a real difficult time trying to give a positive outlook for 2026. When President Obama was in office, we had a wonderful jolt of energy because we had an administration that said, we're going to have advanced biofuels power our country. And then Trump got in there and decided to have his trade wars again and everything else, and to roll back all those environmental protections, and the ag economy started to tank. Joe Biden gets in there again. Hey, we're going to have advanced biofuels. We're going to have airline fuel that comes from corn-based ethanol. What happened? Prices went up again, up to an all-time high, right where they were. Trump gets back in there again. We're going to have a trade war, and boom, prices are tanking again.
President Trump is said to be considering a bailout of at least $10 billion for farmers. That may be too little too late.
We don't want a bailout. We want a market. Bailouts are Band-Aids. We aren't even made whole off of this. That's money that should be going towards senior citizens. That's money that should be going for the Affordable Care Act. That's money that should just be going to regular tax cuts for normal Americans and not billionaires. What he is doing is destroying our markets. And when those markets disappear, we're not going to get them back. We need to have a new policy. We need to have an ag policy that works for farmers again. And we know what works. We have to be able to make a living doing this. The years that we do the best are when our products are in demand. And our products, overwhelming for the history of this country, are in demand when we have a strong export market. And we have to keep those markets alive. We have to do that. And this administration isn't doing that. People came to this country for opportunity. Opportunity equaled land. And we're giving that up. And it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Part of the reason why the greatness of this nation is because we take care of people, and there's values of the family farm that need to be upheld. And it's good for America.
Donald Trump's track record makes it clear that his support for American farmers was more rhetoric than reality. During his first term, his trade war with China devastated U.S. agriculture, wiping out billions in soybean, corn, and pork exports. Farmers were left with unsold crops, plummeting prices, and rising debt, while Trump touted temporary bailout packages as proof of his concern. Those payments, funded through tariffs and government funds, were a stopgap that did nothing to restore long-term market stability. Meanwhile, his administration negotiated trade deals and subsidies that often favored foreign competitors over U.S. farmers. Today, his policies continue to harm domestic agriculture. For example, the decision to provide financial aid and support to Argentina, a major soybean producer, effectively strengthens an American competitor while leaving U.S. farmers struggling in a volatile global market. These moves are more than careless. They suggest deliberate prioritization of political optics over the economic well-being of the very people who put him in office. Part of the reason this betrayal is so widely ignored is the two-party system itself. American political identity is often defined by party allegiance rather than policy outcomes. Many farmers, like other Republicans, support Trump unquestioningly, viewing party loyalty as non-negotiable, even when it results in economic harm. This blind allegiance allows leaders to manipulate voters with rhetoric that appeals to identity instead of substance. Trump's repeated failures to secure meaningful long-term benefits for farmers, paired with his willingness to prop up competitors abroad, illustrate a broader weakness in the American system. Voters are often easily swayed by partisanship, overlooking facts that directly affect their livelihoods. The consequences are real: reduced market access, lost income, and increased dependence on government aid. Yet party loyalty keeps many farmers believing they have a champion in Trump, even as his policies actively undermine their economic security.
Trump's bailout could have the added effect of hurting American farmers, who, we should note, are already suffering immensely under the effects of Trump's chaotic whipsawing global trade war. For the second time in a decade, Trump has picked a fight with China at the expense of American farmers, who make up, obviously, a pretty sizable portion of his political base. You see, American farmers grow a lot of soybeans, and China buys them. Last year, China bought over half, 52% of our total soybean exports. They are our largest customer. Billions and billions of dollars. This year is a different story. You see that graph? This graph shows our soybean exports to China over the last year. That line in May is where sales stop entirely, kaput, completely, all as a result of Trump's tariffs. Farmers are now left with crops they cannot sell, and it is having an absolutely catastrophic effect on their livelihoods. Okay, so how does Argentina factor into this? Well, guess what? Argentina also grows a lot of soybeans. And Trump's buddy, President Milei, just slashed export tariffs to make it much cheaper for China to buy them. In other words, China is replacing American-grown soybeans with Argentinian-grown soybeans. And Trump is bailing out Argentina as they take sales directly away from American farmers.
Bailing out Argentina doesn't help my market. Sending me the tariff money that me and every other taxpayer in this country is paying for. I buy parts and I buy groceries and I'm paying the tariffs exactly like everybody else is. Sending me that money doesn't fix my problem. I mean, to me, currently all we want to do is throw money everywhere at problems instead of actually sit down and try to fix one. If Argentina fails, okay, they're my second biggest competition. If we're going to make American agriculture great and make it stand on its own 2 feet, then I need my second biggest competitor to fail.
Again, this is really crazy, right? I mean, think about this. Trump is explicitly, through his unilateral actions, hurting his own country, the farmers in his own country who voted for him by huge margins in order to help out his right-wing buddy in Argentina, all while the government that his party controls remains shut down. It is a set of circumstances almost beyond parody for the so-called American first president.
We are being forced to bail out another country's farmers at the expense of our own. DC plans to send Argentina $20 billion in economic assistance. And what does Argentina do? They cut their export taxes and sold shiploads of soybeans to China in just 2 days. Meanwhile, farmers right here in Arkansas are left behind with falling prices and no market. I have been an Arkansas soybean farmer my entire life, until this year, when a deepening farm crisis forced my family to close a 150-year-old operation, and we weren't alone. And now this is coming for even more of us. Politicians like Tom Cotton are letting DC put Argentina over places like Arkansas. As a farmer myself, that is something I would not allow. I will fight for trade policies that put Arkansas farmers first, every time. I'm Hallie Schaffner. I'm the 6th-generation Arkansas farmer running to unseat Tom Cotton in the U.S. Senate.
You mean to tell me the administration's fine sending $20 billion of taxpayer dollars to help foreign farmers compete against American farmers here at home in the middle of a shutdown? It's insane, utterly insane. This Argentina bailout is a slap in the face to both American farmers and to working families worried about keeping their health care. If this administration has $20 billion to spare for a MAGA-friendly foreign government, they cannot turn around and say we don't have the money to lower health care costs here at home, because those costs are going through the roof.
America first, America first. Oh wait, that $20 billion bailout to Argentina is now $40 billion. All while the Republicans are trying to gut Medicaid and health care for working Americans, while farmers are sitting there with no soybeans being sold because of Trump's bullshit tariffs. So even MAGA, this is not America first. You have been swindled. You have been lied to.
As a farmer, we get up one morning and you give Argentina, which is our second biggest competition in the world. They're the largest exporters of soybean meal in the world. So I get up one morning, I turn the news on, and you give $20 billion of taxpayer money to my competition. And then the Chinese buy, I think the figure is 30 or 40 containers, ships, which is about 65,000 metric tons per ship, which is like 2.2 million bushels. So they buy $12 or $14 billion worth of soybeans from the Argentinians after the tax holiday. And here's the caveat to it. They give $2.30 over the November board, while I'm getting 50 cents under the November board. So that makes the Argentinian soybeans about $12.42 a bushel. I think that's the real figure they gave. So all my premium went.
Scott, I just lost you there at the end. You said your premiums go.
They all went to Argentina.